Hello, in this video I'm going to go over my companion testing that I've been working on. This is a second test. In this test I have implemented purple and gold gear, and I'm running the same setup as I did in the previous green test. I'm running the winning combination of shattering and focused here. So the gold gear, I'm wearing 2 gold rings of shattering on Ember, and that gives her an amount of penetration of 1,500 per ring, so a total of 3,000 penetration from the gold shattering rings. And then she's wearing 4 additional uh, shattering pieces for 1,300 per piece total there. So and then she is also wearing 6 purple focused gear pieces, and the total penetration that she has on her kit then is roughly 8,200. And then with the focused gear pieces, she should have right around 15% critical chance increase there. So that's the reason I set up that way. So in this video, I'm going to go over basically 2 runs. I did 5 runs of the upgraded gear with the same testing setup as I did at the first video. And then I did 5 more runs with that same exact setup where I implemented Major Breach using the Razor Caltrops skill. And so we're going to go over the numbers here. Without Major Breach, we had a little bit of a jump in damage comparative to the green. So I'm not going to include the analysis here of the first fight because it is a very short fight, and in most cases Ember didn't have time to get very much of an attack off at all. In some cases, as you can see on this run number 3 here, she kind of bugged out sometimes where she didn't really get into the fight until it was almost over, and so that kind of almost made it not worth even looking at. So in this test, another component that I looked at was light attack damage. And so I wanted to track how much light attacks were doing for damage in the fights and see uh, how much of that damage was coming from light attacks, and if it was necessary or even worthwhile to put damaging skills on Ember. And as you can see from these numbers, these are the light attack damage numbers. And these 2 fights are about 30 seconds long. We have a stationary fight here for the second boss and a somewhat mobile fight from the last boss. And the light attack damage is only at the most at 41.7%. So it is pretty worthwhile to put some damaging skills on your companion, as you can see. And so the upgraded purple gear gave us an average between these 2 fights of 5,618 DPS between the 2 fights here and all the runs combined. So this was a pretty good average. And so when we implement Major Breach, you'll be able to see the numbers jump up quite a bit. So again, we're not taking into account this first boss fight because of the reasons I mentioned previously. Um, this is the second fight average, and as you can see, the light attack damage, again, the peak here is 42.8%. So even if you focus on this one right here, your skills on the companion are still going to do about 57% of the damage over the light attacks. So if you don't put damaging skills on your companion, you're just not going to hit this kind of a number. And again, this is not a game-changing number. This is just trying to push the limits of what your companion can do. And because they're underwhelming and all that, then it's a good idea to push every button that you can in terms of getting the damage up as high as you can. So the critical chance here, not as great as the previous test with all of the total focus gear, but the damage has increased quite a bit, as you can see, on top of the fact that Major Breach has been involved here. This basically leaves, let me just run the numbers really quickly on my calculator here. Um, if Ember has 8200 penetration on her, and we take out Major Breach and Minor Breach, then she's only dealing with about 1078 resistances. With this setup here with the two gold shattering pieces and the rest of them being focused. You could lean one more into shattering and clean that off 100%, but there would be a little bit of a waste there going over pen, and so I chose to just do a 6 and 6 focused and shattering. And so this is the result that I got. As you can see, you can pause the video on any of these slides if you want and analyze the DPS, the critical chance, and then the light attack percentage here. That's what these headers are. But let's just go to the last slide here. This first box here, this was what the shattered and focused green trait, the winning category from my first video. This was the average DPS here. And so upgrading to purple and gold gear got me another 598 DPS just for upgrading the gear. So as you can see, it's not something you really want to spend a ton of money on upgrading. You will get an increase, however, it's not a huge amount. So if you find good prices on blue gear, or even if you find a good price on a purple gear, then yeah, you could probably do it. I would recommend, if you're trying to upgrade your companion to purple gear, run Infinite Archive and see if you can get some pieces out of there. With this setup, you're working with two gear traits here, focused and shattering, so you're not pigeonholed into hoping for just one. So that could be helpful. And also, you might want to keep in mind on certain pieces averages. For example, um, while I was out shopping for this gear, I noticed that maybe, like, for example, the shattering belt piece on average was much cheaper than the focused on average belt piece. So you might want to do a price analysis on that and figure out where you want to plug in what trait and keep your costs down on that as well. But you will get a jump in damage, but it's not a massive jump. So keep that in mind. And this is in average. I mean, it's going to fluctuate with conditions and all of that. And then simply implementing Major Breach, as you can see, will jump you up in damage as well. As long as, so the two major contributors of increasing your companion damage are penetration and getting critical strikes in, as I displayed in the first testing. So this gold with Major Breach is really getting into some good numbers here. I'm probably going to do one more video where I talk about buffing this number further and getting them even higher with skills or gear traits that you can wear while running your companion. So keep an eye out on that. I will get that analysis done as soon as I can. But I'm going to end the video here. But before I go, I'm going to ask you, if you like this video, please consider liking and subscribing to my channel. Uh, Go to my YouTube channel if you're interested. I have over 200 videos on the Elder Scrolls Online, and I have organized them all in created playlists on my channel. If you go to my channel and go down to my created playlist, that's where all of my content is listed. I'm probably going to put this video in a new playlist for companion content because my catalog for this category is getting a little bit uh, large enough to constitute having its own playlist, so keep an eye out for that. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you in another video. Bye.